You argue, Mark, that basically they just need to do this successfully. It doesn't matter how much money they rake in. It doesn't matter the terms. It needs to be a success at all costs.
So 3 years ago, they came to market. 550 investors offered to lend them 20 billion euros. They settled for 3 billion euros. But that's the last we saw of them. There was an increase of that issue in September, but that's the last time they tapped the market. It all went pear-shaped since. Now, they're set to come out of programme next year. They need to regain access to the capital markets on an ongoing basis for the next year to prove investor faith in the country. This needs not to be a one-off, and so they're already hitting the debt ceiling that the IMF sets as part of its programme for its programme countries. So they need just to accept a smaller issue than they could get away with and not go for the greediest terms.
Mark, have they reached escape velocity? Is there even any semblance of economic growth within Greece, just basic IMF economic growth, or are they still mired in lethargy and recession?
You know, their privatisation programme seems to have gone quite well. I was there in December, excuse me, and that was going okay. There is evidence of reform, and they've got the IMF on board. The IMF still thinks they need more debt relief. That will come through. But the key thing is market access, and if they can maintain market access for the next year, they really will be out of the woods, I think.
Yeah, whilst, Christian, the IMF is watching all of this.
Yeah, I think, look, Mark made the point. I mean, they shouldn't be greedy, yes, but at the same time, it's an opportune time to go. You know, they're no longer in recession. We forecast, I think, slightly positive growth, and possibly next year above 1.5% growth or so. They're no longer in deflation. The government has made reform efforts, maybe not as much as the IMF would like, but, you know, they are clearly on the way. And now, actually, by issuing, the government, and that's important, they can also signal domestically, look, now we're back to the market. It's a little bit of a validation, in a way, of their efforts. And the IMF is saying, you know, that they still need debt relief, and without debt relief, they're not sustainable. But frankly, most people expect that this would happen after the German elections, right? The Germans don't like to talk about it before, but it comes after. And with that, and that's an important point to make, they'll probably be accepted into the ECB buying program next year. And then, of course, and this is what a lot of investors look at, you suddenly have the ECB in their back as well. And I think that's a good path.